Good morning, everyone. If you're watching on YouTube, hit refresh. Hit refresh real quick right before we get things started. Because after a day or two off, I need to go here into YouTube. Oh, before you hit refresh, I need to click this monetization button, hit save, and it's saving. Now you can hit refresh, and then ads should play at the bottom of your screen. It's like pennies being tossed into the wishing well, into the fountain. You don't even have to do anything to make it happen. Thank you all for being here. Merry Christmas Eve. What was it, the day before Christmas Eve? Was that called Christmas Adam? Was that the joke? Regardless, thank you all for being here. Broadcasting to you live from the Orion Spiral Arm of the Milky Way Galaxy, the solar system, planet Earth, North America, the United States of America, somewhere out there. My name is Brian Engelman. Today is Wednesday, December 24th, otherwise known as Christmas Eve, Christmas Eve. And the show that you are watching now is called the TNAM Daily Show. TNAM, of course, refers to the new American media because the old American media failed you. On today's program, we're going to rifle through the rubbish, separating fake news from fact. We're going to see what people are talking about. It's always going to be a scatter shot, so buckle up. Today's special abbreviated program, I was going to say starts now, but I do want to give one programming note. Strictly Football will be today. We're trying to find the correct time. We said, what about 1 Eastern? We said, what about 1 Eastern? What about 1:30? Let me check what the latest message here is. Noon Pacific is ideal. Jim won't be up then. Okay, noon Pacific is ideal. Well, that leaves me an hour. All right. I don't know exactly what it's going to be, but directly following this program, we'll have Strictly Football coming up. So stay tuned, and let's get into the TNAM Daily Show right now.
Your guide to the truth, thenewamericanmedia.com.
Thank you so much for being here today. Merry Christmas Eve, everybody. All right. Hello, John and everyone. Thank you for being here. Hit like, hit subscribe, share the show with a friend, would ya? Yeah, it's the holiday time, so we are going to we're going to spend time with our loved ones, and that means that show times may vary. Thank you for being here today. All right, let's just jump around and see what we've been sharing. This is your reminder to make sure that you are watching the New American Media on all of the platforms. We share shows at the back. We share shows on Instagram. I keep saying shows. Show topics, rather, like this one, Cali MAGA Barbie. Did you see this one? This is when you realize Gavin Newsom's California is the purge and no one is coming to save you.
Run.
This woman, a Sherman Oaks mother, crashes her G-Wagon into a suspect's car after they tried to break into her home while her children were inside with their grandmother. 2 masked men in gray hoodies appeared outside the black sliding door, and the grandmother called her daughter. The mother returned quickly in her G-Wagon and said adrenaline caused her to unintentionally strike the suspect's white Honda. LAPD collected radios, walkie-talkies, a crowbar, wallets, and identification from the damaged vehicle. Good. Get them. I am so sick of home invaders. Destroy the home invaders. That's the comment I'm going to put up there. Destroy the home invaders. 0. 0 apology. 0 remorse. 0 leniency. 0 leniency is the proper amount in my book. But that's what's happening when people are starting to realize that no one's really coming to save you. When seconds count, police are minutes away. Keep that in mind. When seconds count, police are minutes away. All right. Matt Gaetz drops a bombshell exposing how Israel ran a blackmail and extortion operation against him and his family to permanently silence him. Let's just take a listen. Oh, I guess I got to double click here.
Opt to silence me, and Israel was involved. And I hate to say that. I was shocked to learn it, but there was a consulate official.
Okay, this is amazing. So this is the charge that you were like trafficking underage girls.
Absurd. And
I don't even know what the charge was, but that was the headline. Matt Gaetz traffics underage women. It's like, oh my gosh, can't talk to Matt Gaetz anymore.
Well, for us, the shocking moment was when my father, who's a prominent person in our community, got outreach from someone he had never met that said that there were pictures and images of me with underage prostitutes, and my dad needed to meet with these people right away. And so my dad, somewhat surprised and concerned.
Because, by the way, remember, Matt Gaetz was supposed to be the attorney general, but instead we got Pam Bondi. And after a year of the Trump administration, how many of the deep state colluders, how many of the deep state traitors have been held accountable for their criminality, for their coup, their treasonous coup to overthrow the president through multiple impeachments, through framing him, through spying on him, through all the lawfare? 0, right? You got a couple indictments, maybe, Brennan might be on their radar. So Pam Bondi has given 0 justice to the Russia collusion hoax that handicapped and kneecapped the first 4 years of the Trump administration, that ushered in whatever the hell that 4 years of Biden was. So Matt Gaetz was supposed to be attorney general. He had to bow out because of this. And this is what he's talking to Tucker Carlson about. Instead, we get Pam Bondi. And are you happy? That's a question of the day. Agree or disagree? I'm ecstatic with the amount of prosecutions Pam Bondi has brought against the deep state traitors. I'm thrilled with Pam Bondi's work bringing the deep state traitors of the Democrat Party to justice. Agree or disagree? Yeah, that's going to be a no for me, dog. I'm going to go ahead and disagree. Matt Gaetz, remember, he was supposed to be that guy. Here he is.
Goes and talks to these people and says, what in the world are you talking about? And they said, well, Mr. Gaetz, we need $25 million from you to go and rescue a spy that is being held in Iran. And if you do that, we can make these things about your son go away, which was crazy and wild. We did what any reasonable people would do. We went to the FBI and said that we were being extorted by these folks with their false claims. And we later learned that this consulate official working for the Israeli government was sending text messages to Scott Adams, of all people, the Dilbert cartoonist, saying they were expecting my father to furnish this $25 million payment, and that would be evidence of my consciousness of guilt.
For the American FBI agent grabbed on an Iranian island maybe 18 or 19 years ago.
And I don't know anything about this person. I don't know if the person's dead or alive, but it was troubling and concerning to me that someone who was getting paid by the Israeli government was involved in a criminal shakedown of a U.S. congressman. And someone went to jail for this. The person who conveyed this message to my father pled guilty to the attempted fraud. And surprisingly,
the damage was already done. Matt Gaetz became toxic. He couldn't take the post. Would we have had indictments? Would heads have rolled, figuratively, legally, with indictments, criminal prosecutions, if Matt Gaetz were there instead of Pam Bondi? I think so.
There was never really an effort to figure out what the government of Israel's involvement was in this matter.
But you know that the government of Israel was involved because this was an Israeli government official who was involved in this?
Yes, a person his name's Jake Novak. I think he currently works for Real America's Voice, and he sent text messages.
What?
Yeah. That's the name of the official, and he sent.
So Real America's Voice is connected here.
Sent messages to Scott Adams saying that he was involved.
And Scott Adams is involved here
in this scheme that was later deemed a criminal scheme to shake down my family.
So what
based on
happened
these
to
false
him?
allegations? He got a television show.
Come on now. I didn't know any of this. I'm not playing dumb. I really didn't know that. Have you ever talked to him about it?
I have attempted to figure out, because obviously I still have a lot of unanswered questions about why he was working for a foreign government and trying to shake down my family.
Well, what's the answer, do you think?
Well, some have shared with me their concern that this was a consequence of some of the votes and positions I took in the Congress. I represented one of the most military-heavy districts in the entire country.
I think number one.
Yeah, right up there. And I saw these wars in the Middle East that my neighbors and friends had fought in as unworthy of our best, unworthy of the disruptions in parenting and the divorces and the injuries,
suicides. Yeah.
And so I took the position that we should be less entangled in these things, and I think that really shocked a number of people who thought I would be more of a neocon coming from the district I came from. It was an opt to silence me, and Israel was involved. And
yeah, I think that's the beginning of it. Just remember, Matt Gaetz was supposed to be the Attorney General, and he got ran out of that position. The smear worked. Is it true? I don't know, but it worked, and they got what they wanted. Marion says, "Quote of the question of the day: I disagree. Pam Bondi hasn't done squat likely on Pam who? I mean, hello, Kenneth. Happy Monica to all of my friends. Yes, happy Adam. Happy Christmas Eve, Christmas Adam, Christmas Day. All of those wonderful things to everybody. And Kenneth, I did receive your message yesterday. Thank you so much, sir. We appreciate having you in the program. And as always, we really do appreciate the love and support that we get from our regulars here at the bar. We definitely appreciate it. Kenneth, thank you, sir. Always appreciated. Got a message on the phone, and it's like, oh, Venmo. Oh, Kenneth, filling up the Christmas stockings. Thank you, sir. And if anybody else wants to support the program that we have over here, let me put it up on the screen. No, that's places to follow. We'll do this one. These are all the tip jars down here at the bottom. You can subscribe to the New American Media on Patreon, Rumble, and YouTube. You can also do Rumble rants and super chats on Rumble and YouTube, respectively. Then, of course, we have Venmo, Cash App, and PayPal if anyone wants to throw something in the tip jar this Christmas season. We've had some growth this year, and we ask you to please continue to share the show, tell your friends, let the shows play, keep the comments flowing, and let's have a good time talking about all of the things. So thank you, everybody. Kenneth, marry me, Cook. No, it's Marianne Cook. It's Marianne, not marry me. But nice wordplay there. All right, let's continue on looking at the news, shall we? Matt Gaetz was supposed to be our Attorney General. Let's never forget that. Okay, Right Angle News Network says a 2020 video showing Georgia poll workers acting suspiciously while handing off a USB drive is going viral after it was confirmed that over 300,000 ballots were illegally certified without poll worker signatures in Fulton County, Georgia. Huh. Oh, what's this? It's in my hand. Oh, nope, it's behind me. Wait, hold on. I'm hiding. Wait, I'm spinning. Wait, oh, hold on. No, come over here. Yep, okay. Here's what, yep, yep, I got it. Yep, okay. Yep, yep, I'm just gonna put my hand up here and just gotta be weird here on the table. Okay. Remember when they told us there was no problem in Georgia? What was this? Georgia poll workers targeted by Trump are cleared of, they say, false election fraud claims. The official state report comes years after law enforcement agencies interviewed Ruby Freeman and her daughter, Shay Moss. Remember Rudy Giuliani satisfied a judgment and defamation case brought by former Georgia election workers. Oh, but I thought there was no fraud in Georgia because you destroyed Rudy Giuliani for bringing these questions and concerns up. Judge previously ruled the former Trump attorney had defamed Ruby Freeman and her daughter, Wandrea Shay Moss, by falsely claiming they committed election fraud. What's the commenter? The poster here says, they were literally caught in the act at the time, and what happened? They cried on camera, got $148 million. We are not a serious country. So some of the comments here, when are we going to see arrests? Treason is still a thing, but we have Pam Bondi. I haven't seen a single treason case. 0 treason charges brought up. Well, is that a Pam Bondi thing? Is that a military tribunal? I don't know. I guess it's just a fictitious theory that it's wrong to try to steal the country from the duly elected president. Maybe it's just in my head because it doesn't seem to exist in real life because we're all looking at the things we're looking at. Nobody cares. Pam Bondi doesn't care. Maybe Matt Gaetz would have cared, but he was taken out, maybe. Yeah, Matt Gaetz would have been the attorney general. Pam Bondi would be our dollar general. That's pretty good. Yeah, I feel like when if we had the opening monologue, there's a good core, a good kernel of that joke there. Like there's a way to deliver it and kind of set it up, drop that, and have a follow-up. That's we could have had an attorney general instead we get the dollar general. This was just interesting. Not particularly newsworthy per se. Although you can't say it's newsworthy what happened to America. It really set us off. I had this conversation yesterday with somebody over lunch. Everything turned to hell after 9/11, after this disaster we're watching. Oh, and I can't scroll forward. I wanted to just scroll forward because this is a rare video that shows the collapse from right underneath. But everything changed. Everything fell to shit. And this person I was talking to said, yeah, I was born 3 days after 9/11. I'm like, yeah, you've never known a normal world. It's been chaos. It's been demonic. It's been hyperinflation, rampant theft, just rampant discrimination. And you get through all of the military industrial complex stuff that happened with Bush Cheney, and you get into, what are we at now? 16, no. Well, yeah, I guess maybe 17 years of Barack Hussein Obama. 8 as president, 8 running the deep state, 8 running Biden. Excuse me, 4 and 4. So 8 plus 4 plus 4 is 16 plus this Trump. Yeah. 7 years of Bush Cheney, Halliburton, and global warfare. Look at the price. Look at the charts. Actually, if I just had this playing while I was talking. Anyway, we don't need to relive this. It was just interesting. And if I could scroll to it, it's just, you don't see that very often. But the world really has changed. Not in a good way. In a lot of ways, in a lot of respects. But we're going to stay positive here. C3 here says Rudy Giuliani was ruined by the Democrats for calling them out on the stolen 2020 election in Georgia. Bankrupted, disbarred, and charged and forced to pay $148 million in damages. to Ruby Freeman and Shay Moss. Now it's confirmed that the Dems stole the Georgia election. Rudy better be made whole. The report is what? I believe it's that there's 300,000 votes that were not valid. They weren't signed by the poll workers. Like these should not have been counted. The whole voting tally was rendered illegible at best, fraudulent at the worst. When you mix 300,000 votes into what this one was, Georgia allegedly was decided by 11,000 votes. Well, you can't be decided by 11,000 votes if 300,000 were not valid votes. If 289,000 votes passed. But is anything going to happen? Remember they had that story of ballots in a room and it was locked, but they wouldn't open the room. Yeah, we heard that for years. Nothing ever came of that either, huh? All right, keep it rolling here. Kevin Kiley in California says California is the fraud capital of America. $32 billion in unemployment fraud, $24 billion in homeless funds lost, air quote lost, $18 billion in non-existent bullet train, $650 million on scrapped 911 system. A scathing report from the state auditor just identified 8 separate state agencies as high risk. This means they exhibit serious waste, fraud, and abuse or mismanagement, costing taxpayers billions. The number has doubled during Newsom's tenure. So just keep that in mind, because that's really who they got out there as the Democrat nominee in 2028. Well, 2027 for the 2028 election. Wall Street Mavs shows you rape R's per 100,000. That's the abuse of a woman. England, 117 per 100,000. Sweden, 84. France, 62. Norway, 40. 62, 42 in Norway, 25 in Austria, but only 1.3 in Poland. What's going on in Poland? Oh, Elon says Poland did not allow uncontrolled immigration. You weren't overrun by an invading army of military-aged men, so your women aren't being abused. Huh. Almost like there's a strategy. Almost like what they're doing is intentional. Almost like what Poland's doing is working to protect the people of Poland. Huh. Keep that in mind, if you're to believe those numbers. Okay, what's this? Toria Brooks says big brains on K Street are well, I guess there's audio here. Let's listen to the story. Nope. It's just music. Big brains on K Street suggest that U.S. presence in and around Venezuela is due to underwater Chinese drones or special ops unmanned submarines. These drones could threaten the U.S. West Coast ports and or the Panama Canal. All right, then. China's new underwater submarine drones.
Targeting the U.S. West Coast ports or even disrupting global trade through the strategic Panama Canal.
I can't play it because of the music there. But yeah, remember all those New Jersey drones? What was that about? I don't know.
Large unmanned underwater vehicles remain highly classified black projects.
All right, I got to pause it because of the music. Venezuela has allegedly been smuggling the Chinese drones, and they are now reportedly all over the Atlantic coast. Oh, like New Jersey. Venezuela is said to be a Chinese proxy. Okay. So if you're wondering why President Trump is so fixated on Venezuela, these are thoughts going around. Chinese drones believed to be the world's largest and could sail more than 11,500 miles. An extended battery array enables the drones to extend range for 3,000 nautical miles underwater. Drones were housed in Hainan province and were possibly competing for a contract with the Navy. Their weapons bays could carry sea mines and between 8 and 12 torpedoes, threatening West Coast ports. Some of these drones measure more than 130 feet long. These accusations regarding U.S. intent in and around Venezuela are currently unverified. But people are talking about it. What do you think? Agree or disagree that that seems possible? Not saying do you believe it fully, but do you agree or disagree that that seems possible? And it might help explain why we're so suddenly interested in Venezuela. I think it's possible. I think anything's possible because something about Venezuela doesn't add up. They're linked to voting systems that may or may not be controlling tens and tens of countries' elections through certain voting shenanigans. Theft, really. It's just theft. You can call it theft. Unverified, but those rumors are going around. But you just wonder, are we really involved with Venezuela for the reasons we're being told? I don't know. It could be what we're being told and more. All right, here is Mike Benz talking about how Jeffrey Epstein reportedly negotiated to move the CIA's proprietary airliner, Southern Air Transport, which was busted running drugs and guns during Iran-Contra, over to an Ohio military base.
Negotiated the fucking contract to move the CIA's proprietary airliner, Southern Air Transport, which was busted running drugs and guns during Iran-Contra. He personally was the authorized signatory on the deal with Southern Air Transport to move it to a military base in Columbus, Ohio to service the limited. Hey, any of you guys got any bright ideas about how you would go about in 1994 convincing the Central Intelligence Agency to move its proprietary CIA airline used for covert operations based in Miami to fucking up and move its entire operation to fucking Columbus, Ohio, just to service your personal company instead of the CIA? What do you think? He cold called the CIA? Jeffrey Epstein negotiated the
You think he cold called? No, I mean, if this is what's occurring, this is the highest of the high top level decisions connected to Epstein, not just some creep somewhere.
CIA? You think he just schmoozed the CIA? Or is it because he was handling on Khashoggi's money during Iran-Contra that purchased the guns that Southern Air Transport a decade earlier was moving? CIA? You think he just schmoozed the CIA?
Insider paper says Russell Brand has been charged with 2 new offenses, one of R and one of sexual assault, per BBC. Comment says Russell's being targeted, same playback they used with Trump and anyone else they, the deep state turds, don't like. I don't know. Kalshi here says odds of a recession next year reach an all-time low of only 25%. That feels like good info. Introducing the Sleigh 380. Santa's going long haul this year. Now, what are we even watching here? Is that really gonna... What am I watching? Is this real? I feel everything's got to be AI. It says Merry Christmas from Emirates. They wouldn't really fly with antlers on, dragging something behind. You know what? I gotta ask Grok, just out of curiosity. Is the Emirates airline video Santa in the sleigh something that really flew? Or just an ad? Man, say fake. I don't feel like they'd get the clearance for something like that. Something they could rip off. Okay, thank you. Fully digital creation. They had a similar CGI reel last year with an A380 and a Santa hat pulled by reindeer. Okay, but it is kind of cool, kind of fun to look at. Are you planning on doing anything interesting for Christmas? Do you have any family traditions? Question of the day. Anything interesting? Hey, speaking of interesting, take a look at this, what Shadow of Ezra put out. A very creepy caricature drawing that's hung in Jeffrey Epstein's bathroom, directly above the toilet. The drawing featured Epstein alongside Bill Clinton, Barack Obama, and Adam Schiff boarding an airplane behind them. Obama and Schiff boarding the airplane. It was, here, take a look. Bill Clinton, Epstein, Adam Schiff, Barack Obama. That's a gotcha. Huh. I mean, this had to all feel like it was blackmail, right? Didn't it feel that way? Did they all know what they were a part of, or no? More news on the Epstein release coming up in a moment. Just shared a story a moment ago, which, if real, could be very, very interesting. All right. And Wokeness says this is Judge Joy Kennedy. Earlier this month, she lowered the bail for a repeat violent offender to only $5,000 in Cleveland. 5 days later, he cade Ben McComas. Elon says judges like this should be fired. Yeah, they should be held accountable in many ways. I'm so tired of seeing these stories with crazy people being let out. You lose your free range privileges once you start getting violent and crazy. End of story. Hard stop. Charlie Kirk was once asked, who rules the world?
World. Who runs the world? Well, the scriptures say that Satan actually runs the world.
So, do you follow the scriptures and believe that Satan runs this world?
He is the prince of this world.
But also in human form.
Currently, there's an oligarchy.
Using the Democrats' favorite word of choice, it's an oligarchy.
That's really hard to pinpoint.
The more you try to figure out exactly how it's connected, the more blurry it gets.
Of who's actually calling the shots. And
is that Soros? Is that the Illuminati? Is that, I mean, the Trilateral Commission? I mean, you could point your finger at 100 different places, but is it exactly clear who runs everything?
That's really what's happening in this election, is that the presidency is no more. It's really kind of a...
The presidency is no more. After going a year and not seeing any justice for the deep state traitors who threw a coup. It's tough to believe anything else.
Shadow government of administrative experts that call the shots.
The administrative experts who call the shots, that's the deep state. That's the unelected bureaucrats that are they're there through Republicans, Democrats, and they are entrenched, and they will make sure that they represent themselves and that they maintain and expand their power. That feels self-evident at this point, too.
That the president is basically just a Hollywood actor or actress.
A Hollywood actor or actress. Fake White House sets for Biden. I mean, you got ABC, ESPN, Disney constantly running their interference / cheerleading campaigns for the deep state.
That goes around, poses for pictures, produce speeches. They don't actually make any decisions.
Although, I mean, it's hard to say it wouldn't be a massive difference if President Trump was not currently in office. I shudder to think.
And so the form and the structure of government, as the founding fathers intended, is no more.
Runs the world.
How did it get this way? Was it always this way? Here's a police shootout at a hospital in Ohio. It's a 3-minute clip. I'm not going to play it for brevity, but go check it out. Andrew Torba had an interesting thought. What do you think of this one? Andrew Torba says, if all else fails, if America falls, the Jews have Israel, the Indians have India, the Chinese have China, the Japanese have Japan. My people, the American people, have nowhere else to go. We are actively being displaced, replaced, and destroyed from within. We will not have our identity redefined by the outsiders replacing us who have a plan B. Do you really think we're just going to stand here, shut up, and take this treatment? Think again. He continues, Europe is suffering the same dispossession that we are. Australia, Canada, New Zealand, all of them are being subjected to the same replacement. There is no ancestral homeland waiting to receive us. There is no ethno-state that exists for our preservation. There is only here This land that our ancestors cleared and built and died for. This is our first, last, and only home. It's a very important point, I think. This meme says, if the welfare fraud in Minnesota is this bad, imagine how bad the voter fraud is. That's breathtaking. Oh, here's a little nice Christmas moment.
This is Nana Abernathy. I was going to let you know that we're going to give you this load of wood for free. I ain't coming back for no money.
You ain't going to?
I ain't going to charge you. I'm going to let you have it for free.
Thank you.
I know you said that you was having a rough time, and that's what we try to do. We try to help people out, and I wanted to bless you before Christmas, and we're not coming back for no money.
That's the nicest Christmas present I could get.
It's all for you. Can I get a hug?
Yeah.
Merry Christmas. I hope you have a great Christmas and a great holiday, and I hope the Lord blesses you.
Okay.
Okay? You have a good evening.
He just did.
He just did. That's right.
Thank you.
Yep. I'll get you took care of, and we'll get this dumped out right here for you.
Okay. Thank you.
You have a great. It's a beautiful load of wood right there.
85-year-old widow in North Carolina called a local tree removal company begging for firewood to stay warm this winter, admitting she couldn't afford to pay. But the owner, Paul Britton, delivered it for free. He also repaired her car, fixed her leaking roof, overhauled her broken heating and AC unit at cost, and then rallied the community to raise $20,000 for her Christmas needs. You know, isn't that?
It's cut pretty small, too. That way she can handle it nice and be easy on her. This is Nana.
That's how you do it. Spread some Christmas cheer, people. Omar Navarro asks, remember when Elon Musk stated that the U.S. Institute of Peace deleted a terabyte of info traced to linked to fraud, theft of taxpayer dollars, and payments to the Taliban? Evidence was sent to the FBI. And
additionally, we found that they were spending money.
Whatever happened to that, and why haven't arrests been made? I think that's a great question. Pam Bondi. What's this story, Graham Allen?
You are charged with murder, which is a first-degree felony.
Wearing an orange jumpsuit and handcuffed for the first time, Matthew stood before a judge, charged with murder in the death of 16-year-old Andrew Meismer, a Sterling High School sophomore. Prosecutors laid out what they allege happened inside the school Wednesday morning.
She stated that she overheard this defendant and the complainant discussing a vaped THC pen, that the defendant had lost his pen and was blaming the complainant for taking it.
That's what prosecutors say a female classmate who witnessed the confrontation told officers. According to investigators, police were called out to the high school around 11:15 a.m. Meismer died from his injuries, a puncture wound to the neck less than an hour later.
You are charged with murder, which is a first-degree felony.
Wearing an orange jumpsuit and handcuffed for the first time, Matthew.
Over a $20 vape. Tragic. All right. This being shared by Wall Street Bullion. Muslims gathered together in the town square to tear down a large Christmas tree meant for families to enjoy. Anyone else getting tired of this? Looking for context here. Wish Instagram had Grok to do some fact checking and background info. But how does that make you feel, folks? Looking at a group tearing down a Christmas tree. How you feel about that? You cool with that? Speaking of cool, what kind of cool traditions do you have? Marion, only tradition I do now is tamales on Christmas Eve. That way I'll get to unwrap one gift. Yeah, you know what they say. Made today, gone tamales. Michael Hurd points this out, and I think this is important to note. The Rob Reiner case, the Rob Reiner, just awful story. But let's put it into some perspective here, how it's been covered. If young Reiner had K'd his parents with a gun, then guns would get the blame, and immediate gun confiscation would be demanded, as it always is after any high-profile gun murders. Yet, he killed his parents with a knife. Are knives to blame? Will knife control or knife confiscation be threatened? Clearly not. This inconsistency suggests only one possibility. The powers that be are afraid of an armed population. Crime does not concern them. Threats to their power are what concern them. 100% accurate. Button. So it says Muslim migrants in France climb a Christmas tree and take down the ornaments. They're incompatible. Raging Americans say this is why Christmas markets in Germany had to increase security 44%, why a German Christmas market was viciously attacked last year. Muslims despise Christians, and nearly every Muslim majority nation is unsafe for Christians. So the story is being reported multiple places, allegedly Muslim invaders in France climbing a Christmas tree to show destruction and dominance. Do you welcome that or do you reject that? Do you deport that? Make a choice. Make a choice. We said now put the tree up tomorrow with armed guards to resolve this crap once and for all. It's pretty funny here from the Babylon Bee. Because Nicki Minaj was at the Turning Point event this week. Article says, man driving electric car blasting Nicki Minaj, clearly right wing. Remember when electric cars were almost exclusively for the left? Nicki Minaj, you'd never think that's a conservative, but clearly right wing now. J.K. Rowling says there are no trans kids. No child is born in the wrong body. There are only adults like you prepared to sacrifice the health of minors to bolster your belief in an ideology that will end up wreaking more harm than lobotomies and false memory syndrome combined. Wow. Do you agree or disagree with J.K. Rowling? Protect the kids is what I say. You want to become 18 and do whatever you want with your body, with your money. I'm going to recommend you don't butcher yourself unnecessarily. If you choose to, yeah, I guess you got the right to. But leave the kids alone until they're 18. Don't go. Don't. Leave the kids alone. Let the kids grow up and become 18 and make their decision. Gad Sad says, here's a great idea. Let in millions of men who hold ideological positions that are perfectly antithetical to our Western tradition. Then spend billions of dollars engaging in the surveillance because they are at risk of being radicalized. Or perhaps don't let them into your country because the net accounting to the host nation is astoundingly negative. Nah, logic is too cumbersome. Best to bathe in the infinity pool of suicidal empathy. Bravo again. Being Libertarian says, hey, imagine how little we'd need to be taxed if it wasn't going toward fraud. Excellent point. Here's a map from Visegrad 24 showing terrorist attacks targeting European Christmas markets between 2000 and 25. Over and over and over and over and over and over again. It's not Christians planning the Christmas attacks. No. Iraqi man planning a mass stabbing attack. Algerian and Chechen teens arrested for planning truck attack. 14 Al-Qaeda-linked terrorists with a bomb plot. 5K'd in shooting and stabbing attack by a French Algerian Islamist. Iraqi asylum seeker arrested after planning a car ramming attack. 5 men from Morocco and Egypt and Syria arrested for planning a car ramming attack. Tajik man arrested for planning a vehicular attack on the same market as the previous year. Saudi man kills 5 and injures 200 plus in a car ramming attack. 12 K'd in a truck ramming attack by Tunisian asylum seekers. So that's suicidal empathy. Someone's want to enter your nation, cool. You bring in people that hate you and are trying to end you, well, that seems counterproductive. So it looks like Copenhagen, Denmark, Islamists have set up a Dawa stall next to a Christmas tree. Can't play the music. But at the Christmas tree, they have spelled out F-O-R-K, except it's not fork, Islam. They're right next to this tree saying there's no God but Allah. All sorts of stuff. And the Copenhagen Danes have a different message up. F Islam is their message. Matt says, don't show up in another country and demand they follow your tradition and beliefs. Live in peace or pound sand. BMA says, send them back. See, there's their sign. F something, something, something Islam on a Christmas tree. So there you go. Interesting. President Trump introduces the host of the Kennedy Center's honors.
The 45th and 47th President of the United States, Donald J. Trump.
Wondering how much of this we can play without getting a copyright. Actually, I'll just mute it for a moment here. Yeah, the story about the Kennedy Center is that there was a lot of disrepair and a lot of money was being laundered in and out of there. And the earmarked dollars meant to fix the building were not going there. So President Trump, a guy who works in real estate, who develops buildings, makes things nicer, says, this place is a dump, let's fix it. And so he fixed it. Well, why would he slap his name on it? That's what he does when he renovates dilapidated buildings. Enters to the Rocky soundtrack in a tuxedo. There's Sylvester Stallone. So that happened yesterday. Did any of you watch the Kennedy Center's awards? I did not, but I will scroll for some highlights. Here's a Cranston, Rhode Island Democratic Committee Chair Maria Bucci arrested for drunk driving and wild body cam footage here.
So I can smell alcohol coming off your breath right now, and your driving was pretty erratic. So you can make all the faces you want. That's perfectly fine.
Embarrass me. I honestly feel bad. If I was a black human, I think you guys. No, honestly, I feel bad for the people. I feel bad for the people that are not in my position.
Do you have any questions?
Honestly, I do. Can you do it one more time?
Sure, I'll do it for you one more time.
No, I want you to do it on the line.
Nope, right here. It's going to start like this. 1, 2, 3. Simulating that's your 9th step. You're going to keep that front foot on the line. You're going to turn, okay, and take a series of small steps. This manner only. Then you're going to continue back down the line. 9 heel-to-toe steps, as so. Keep your arms down by your side. Look down at your feet. Count your steps out loud, and don't stop the test until you've completed it. Miss, do you understand?
No, I'm talking to you.
Miss, do you understand?
No, I'm talking to you. Well, that's not really how that works.
Understand?
Miss,
My
do you
cousin
understand?
is yelling.
Miss, do you understand?
If I do 8 steps or 7 steps, are you going to...
Miss, just do you understand what I just instructed to you? It's a yes or no.
Did you talk to my husband? Is he on his way?
Okay. All right, Miss.
So why are you guys embarrassing me?
Miss, on the line, please.
This guy is like talking gibberish.
Turn around.
You want to arrest me?
Yep, turn around.
You're a dick.
Yep, okay.
Give me the camera, you're a dick.
Yep.
Like, I am not drinking, you're a loser.
Stop.
Yeah, how old are you? I'm a 50-year-old lady.
Stop.
I hope they arrest your mother. I hope they arrest your mother, too.
Stop.
I don't drink.
Nope. Stop.
You guys are gross. Oh, my whole family's in law enforcement.
Okay.
We should be ashamed of ourselves.
The comments are great. Climate change caused that.
187, one in custody.
I fucking can't stand it.
Stop. So I can.
Yeah, random liberal talking points. I don't know why you would bring up racism. The comment, her voice sounds like a drunk Nancy Pelosi. Well, that's a little redundant, but anyway, that happened. All right, let's bounce over to X. Unfortunately, I have to report this. There is still no update from the missing Siamese cat belonging to Diane Huff Medina and her family in Lakewood, California. December 11th, Amazon Flex delivery driver caught on Ring doorbell footage petting Piper, then picking her up by the scruff and taking her to his vehicle. Amazon identified and banned the driver, an independent contractor, and he's facing pending charges after admitting to taking her. He claimed he thought she was feral, put her in his car, and that she later escaped, but he couldn't specify where. Oh, he didn't. That's what Piper looks like, and she is microchipped. Family's devastated. Amazon has not provided further assistance, like sharing the driver's route for searches or posting flyers. That's insane. So that's happening. That makes me upset. All right, here on X, that is the top of our X feed. That's our Patreon link if anyone wants to sign up. Become a monthly Patreon supporter. Man, you're so appreciated, all of you. There are free versions of our Patreon subscription as well. So it could either be like $5 or $10 a month, $100 a month, or it could be for free. But you'll at least be connected in all of the places. So that link is right here. Dan Bongino shares, this is what happens when you mix a president with a vision of safer streets with a team dedicated to implementing the vision. Talk is cheap, results matter. Look at all this. Historic murder drop, down 19.8%. Motor vehicle theft, down 23%. Robbery, down 18%. Burglary, 15%. Property crime, 12%. Violent crime, down 10%. Theft, down 9%. Same with R and aggravated assault, 9 and 8. Almost as if all you had to do was care. Almost as if all you ever had to do was care. David says, I don't want to watch awards. I want to watch arrests. Yeah, don't we all, David? But as we showed you and reminded you, remember, it was Matt Gaetz as Attorney General, but somebody ran him out, and we got Pam Bondi, along with a massive lack of results. It's been a year and no treason charges. Well, you know, Pam Bondi, the Attorney General, doesn't handle the treason charges. You know that would have to be a military tribunal. Okay, so set it up. Do it. And unless there's going to be a Christmas night roundup, then we have every right to feel disappointed about what's happening and what's not happening. We have every right to have expectations. Although in that song, Hey Jealousy by Gin Blossoms, it says, if you don't expect too much from me. Oh, that's what it is. You can trust me not to beg and not to sleep around. And if you don't expect too much from me, you might not be let down. But I think we have a right to some expectations. Lake Leon. Notice how the left does not attack Pam Bondi. That is an interesting point. So anyway, historic murder drop. Tom Pelissero saying that the Raiders are placing star tight end Brock Bowers on injured reserve today, officially ending his season. Nick Fuentes said bad things, insulting things about his wife. And then Fuentes says this. So Nick Fuentes was told by J.D. Vance to eat shit. And then Fuentes says this. So it's, it's getting spicy out there.
Now, first of all, I have to say, I really appreciate the invitation. It's very gracious. I've said a lot of negative things about J.D. Vance. So for him to extend an invitation like that to me, to have dinner, a traditional Indian dinner with him and his family, it actually moved me. It actually touched me a little bit. I said, I've been nothing but antagonistic to this guy, really unprovoked. I started the beef. And so for him, in the spirit of the holiday, in the spirit of Christmas, for him to extend an invitation in public like that, to enjoy a traditional Indian dinner prepared by his wife with his family at the Naval Observatory, he's a better man than me. He's a better man than me. And I got to give him a lot of credit for that. Credit where it is due.
You could disagree with Charlie Kirk. He was fairly civil. Charlie Kirk's off the table now. Probably would have been vice president for J.D. Vance. Those reports are circulating that that was kind of in the works. So now, in the absence of Charlie Kirk, you have Milo Yiannopoulos, you have Nick Fuentes, Andrew Tate. You got some more, well, the level of discourse has changed now, hasn't it?
But respectfully, I must decline. That's sort of the whole point. I don't want to eat shit. Kind of the whole point. We don't want them here because we don't want to eat shit. I know they do that in India. I know they literally eat cow shit. I know that they will scratch their ass and then prepare food and eat shit that way also. We don't want them here because we don't eat shit in America. We try to avoid eating shit as much as possible. It's why we wash our hands, you know? So respectfully, I'm going to have to decline. Thank you, but no thank you. I will not be eating shit, but I wish you the best on your Christmas Eve dinner. I hope that goes well for you guys. But anyway.
So that's where we're at, people. Okay. Taya says AP style guides instruct them to lowercase the word white, but then capitalize black because black is better, they think, or something. Or whites are worse. Is it that oh, there's a good question. BBWW. Do you think the Associated Press is doing garbage like this because they think blacks are better or because it means whites are worse? Is the AP doing this racist garbage because blacks are better or whites are worst? Is it supremacy or bigotry? What say you? Elon chimes in and says, this is unfair. Because it is. That's the Obama doctrine. AP style will continue to lowercase the term white in racial, ethnic, and cultural senses. This decision follows our move last month to capitalize black in such uses. We consulted with a wide group of people internally and externally around the globe and considered a variety of commentary in making these decisions. Imagine asking a lot of people and reaching this conclusion. Yeah, it's really tacky, Nick, but you could say that J.D. Vance jumping in and telling someone to eat shit. It's like you're feeding the fire, you're feeding fuel to the fire. Don't feed the trolls, pinkies up. So did JD bring some of this on him? Is Kenneth, he'd be served a poo-poo platter? Oh my gosh, guys. Anyway, why we will lowercase white. And that pretty much sums up the past 20, 30, 40 years of what the deep state has been up to. Okay, so there is allegedly a flaw being reported on The Guardian and the BBC. Check this out, about the Epstein files.
Why you should be careful about redacting things in a PDF. And essentially, it's because if you don't do it the right way, people can just copy the text behind it and then paste it into a notepad and it'll show you what the text was. And it turns out the U.S. Department of Justice actually made that mistake with some of the Epstein files. So here's one of the files from justice.gov, and here's a redacted part. I can literally just copy behind it. And then if I go to my Word document over here and hit paste, why you should be careful about redacting things in a PDF. And essentially, it's because if you don't...
So this story is going around. Concerned Citizen says every single bit of it is decipherable. Redacted files will now come out. I don't know if that's the case. But Grok says this. We asked, is it true? Reports from Guardian, BBC, and user demonstrations confirm that some redacted Epstein files from the Department of Justice have a flaw. Black boxes don't remove the text layer, so copying and pasting reveals hidden content. The DOJ has pulled some files for review. By the way, where is this being reported? No official pardon for Edward Snowden has been announced by President Trump. He's not listed in clemency records. Snowden has made no such announcement. But you started seeing little rumors of this. Not sure if the people are hoping this would happen or if people are talking about it. Legitimate targets. Jackson Hinkle. Joshua Hall reporting, Director of National Intelligence Tulsi Gabbard reportedly working to secure a pardon for whistleblower Edward Norton. So not sure if that's going to happen, but you're hearing some rumblings, and I wanted to mention that. So if it does end up happening, you can say you heard it here. And if it doesn't happen, you can say that we did not report that it was going to happen. We reported that others were reporting that they're in talks to make it happen. No, you're just engaging in gossip. Yeah, that's what half of news is. We're trying to sniff things out down the road that are on the way. Anybody can tell you what already happened. But that was interesting. That was a big question mark that came out yesterday. I'm not sure what's behind it, but we shall see. Tim Walz doing Tim Walz things. Take a listen to him. What, is he supposed to be a leader of the Democrat Party?
So this is what happens when your own federal government wages war against you. This is what happens when they target communities for their own benefit. This is what happens when they scapegoat. And this is what happens when they no longer hide the idea of white supremacy when you hear the Vice President of the United States talk about now white people won't have to apologize for being white.
No, Tim, your party's been pushing that. You can grovel as a Democrat and self-flagellate. They made Joe Biden do that all the time. America's not going to be a mainly white nation, and that's a good thing. And that's a good thing, he said. Constant drivel, race drivel, to make people like Tim Walz and Joe Biden look self-loathing. That's really what the deep state Democrats have been pushing on us for decades. Feel bad about what you look like. Oh, are you white? Well, then you're bad, and you're this, and you're that. And like, I didn't do any of the shit you're blaming on me. Yeah, well, people that look like you did. Isn't that literally racism? Nope, because only whites can be racist. Yeah, that's racist. What are you talking about? And it's finally taken until now where people are saying, no, we're not going to apologize for being white. We're sick of this crap. We're sick of what the Democrats are peddling. We're done. We reject it wholeheartedly. Yeah, you can grovel like these two in the middle here. It's never enough, and it's never fair. It's never right.
The idea of white supremacy when you hear the Vice President of the United States talk about now white people won't have to apologize for being white. That's never happened once in my whole damn life.
Sure, Tim. You sort of apologize with the policies that you enact.
And I think everybody in this room knows what they're doing.
Yeah, what they, the teachers in the Democrat Party are doing, the teachers' unions, the ones peddling this stuff, the lying legacy media, it's to make people hate themselves, hate their country, hate their culture, hate this place. So that they're silent, they shut up, they're ashamed, and you guys can rob us blind.
So we're here today to say enough of this.
Yep, enough of this. You need to apologize for being white now.
Enough of this. We're here today to stand that Minnesota will protect their neighbors. So
yeah, protect their neighbors by stealing how much? What are we at? $9 billion of stolen money in your state, Timmy boy? Yeah, like Paul Bunyan, and that tree is going to come down. Timber, right, Kenneth? Yeah, Edward was snowed in during the recent cold snap. Okay, Mr. Obvious saying 4chan cracked the redactions and are able to see under the black text. A major investigation is starting on the Epstein files, and we can see everything. Well, I don't know. Are there any new revelations that came out because of this? I don't recall getting stuff. Benny Johnson says, meet 66-year-old bus driver Diane Crawford. After 30 years on the job in Pennsylvania, she was fired for asking students to speak English because one student was bullying others in Spanish. Fired for asking kids to speak English in the United States is insane. Clandestine reports this, says, holy S, I think it's actually happening. I'm reading through the Supreme Court ruling in Trump versus Illinois, and they ruled that Trump needs to invoke the Insurrection Act in order to send the troops into Chicago. Kavanaugh, in his dissent, even says that this ruling could cause the president to use the U.S. military more than the National Guard. The Supreme Court just admitted that Trump has the authority to invoke the Insurrection Act to bypass posse comitatus and send the troops to Chicago and any other city he wants. Trump tried to exhaust every legal avenue possible before resorting to the Insurrection Act. But the Democrats resisted and refused to cooperate. Sounds to me like Trump just got the green light. Invoke the Insurrection Act. Would you like to see President Trump invoke the Insurrection Act? Agree or disagree? Dallas police officers arrest 2 Christian street preachers because they were speaking on public property and they didn't back off.
Public property officer?
Now. What do you want to do?
So this officer just arrested my fellow brother because he's on public property and asking questions.
Okay, so you get to go too. Let's go.
Here's my...
On the radio right now. Sit down on the thing up there, buddy. Yellow. Sit down.
Hey, I want to,
Now, I'm going to tell y'all two to go over there.
We're on public property right here.
This is not about public property.
I have the right to record this.
It is public property.
This is not about public property.
So why am I being arrested, officer?
Because I told you to back off twice. You didn't do it.
For being on public property?
Twice.
Says you need to back off public property. Okay. John Root here says the Los Angeles Chargers shared a mic'd up video trying to paint Dallas Cowboys center Cooper Beebe as a racist. The Chargers shared this. Chargers need to apologize and the social media team needs to be reprimanded. This is defamation. Why would they release this?
What? You call me a...
They're blanking all this out.
Oh, okay. Appreciate it. What?
Okay. Cooper Beebe. I literally said whole R. That's our call versus Abby front. Imagine bleeping out what I said to make me seem racist. You guys are pieces of shit, Chargers. Wow. What a weird story. Although I will say, based on all the bleeping, I couldn't really make much of that either way. Although, let me share this at TNAM football. Maybe we could talk about this today. Looks like we're aiming at 2 o'clock Eastern, so about 59 minutes from now. So I'm going to try to speed through here and wrap this up and reset for our football show. Kenneth, yeah, Milkshake Tim. Lake Leon says, yes, please invoke the Insurrection Act. David Ban, I'm speaking his language. Yes, invoke it. Well, what do you call it when 40 million illegal alien invaders, military-aged men, are pre-positioned into your country as Trojan horses, sleeper cells? What do you call it? Is that an insurrection? Oh, I can't believe President Trump would use the National Guard or use the military. What, to defend our country as the commander-in-chief? We're being robbed blind. We're being changed from the inside out into things that we were never intended to be. So yeah, if you end up with the Insurrection Act, you did it to yourself. Marion, yes, invoke the Insurrection Act. Tired of these lawsuits against our president. They're nonstop. They're incessant. Wokel Distance says the left will pretend the woke craziness never happened by demanding that you provide on-the-spot citations for every memory of the woke era you have, and then calling you a liar if you don't have large numbers of citations committed to memory. When they do that, show them this. Should I read some of these? The Philadelphia Phillies are too white. Too white for refugees? The Green Rush is too white. The unbearable whiteness of being. The unbearable whiteness of baseball. Too white for comedy? Lesbian media is too white. Team GB is still too white. Is graphic design too white? The European Union is too white. Is hunting too white? Is running too white? TV is too white. This goes on, and I could read what are there? 100 on here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 times 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 22, 24, 26, 28, 30, 32, 34, 35 times 8. That's easy math, right? 35 times 8. 280. That's just, who's this Michael guy? He says, I can't decide if the fact that so many mediocre white men are touting this article, while people who can do math with decimal points can't get it through without guffawing until their stomachs hurt at the author's stupendous ineptitude, is good or bad. I'ma go with bad. It's a horribly written post. This guy says he's a journalist and an author about the unwhitewashed story of America. All right. Beginning in 2014, Prestige Industries decided they urgently needed to diversify. Yeah, Obama's second term. They didn't purge established boomers. Instead, they did everything possible to avoid hiring white millennial men. This is the deranged story of a generation derailed by DEI. Great article, and it's very true. It's not great, but it's great that it's being pointed out. Oh, by the way, Amuse points out, DEI, a left-wing professor, now claims It's a Wonderful Life is racist. The Christmas classic was released this month 79 years ago. The left wants to destroy everything wholesome in America. A Carleton University professor writing in the taxpayer-subsidized outlet The Conversation claims the beloved 1946 film It's a Wonderful Life contains hidden racist and bigoted messages. Yeah, they're so hidden, they're not there. Professor James Deville argues the movie's music reflects racial hierarchy? Criticizes jazz scenes and labels director Frank Capra a racist. Yawn. He also attacks the portrayal as too white and morally ignorant. All right, so I feel like we need to watch this movie tonight, huh? Do you have any movies you like watching? Christmas Story? Some of that filmed in Cleveland, Ohio, by the way. This guy shares, have you had a similar experience? People are going off on Jersey Mike's. Wall Street Ape says Americans are noticing Jersey Mike's recently dramatically decreased the size of chips that come with their meals. The man films himself opening the bag and counting how many chips you get now. And they're talking about...
Are you rolling?
They're talking about it was bought by a venture capital company or something. The big grab is 1.4 ounces. $20 a pound. It should be called the sample size. Here's a dollar bill for scale.
Feel exceptionally light. As you can see, have not been opened. Just did a pickup from.
But I keep seeing over and over. I have no vested interest in or against Jersey Mike's. Been there a couple times. It was good when I had it, but a lot of people are saying there was a recent purchase or an acquisition of the company and everything has gone to crap since. I don't know if that's true, but here's what this guy said.
Jersey Mike's, but it feels a little light. So we're going to open these on camera. No AI. See what we got. Let's check the portion. I'm not touching them. They're not mine. That's your portion. Wait, can we put like a quarter in there for scale? There's a pen. You get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 chips. What's going on here, Miss Vicky's? We could do better.
I don't know. I don't know if that's fair. I don't know if that's goofy, but people are reporting it. 2.1 million views. It looked like he opened it from scratch. All right. Jason Bassler wants to ask this question, and I feel this is a pretty good question. So let's get to it. The Epstein files dropped in one of the... Are the buttons not working on this device anymore? There you go, volume down. The Epstein files dropped and one of the most important names is still being ignored. So where is Sarah Kellen, Epstein's day-to-day assistant? Is that an assistant or is that handler? Kenneth, that's just bull chips. Marion says, I'm into watching as many Christmas movies as I can. Yeah, those are diet chips, it seems, huh? Okay. Epstein's day-to-day assistant, Sarah Kellen. Allegedly, this is all allegedly, according to Jason Bassler, scheduled massages and air quote massages and coordinated travel for young women arriving at Epstein's properties. Victims say she greeted them, led them upstairs and prepared rooms. Named in Maxwell's trial as an accomplice for arranging victims for Epstein. Received immunity in Epstein's 2008 plea deal. Identified as one of the 4 people with knowledge of a potential client list. A federal judge said she was criminally responsible in Epstein's trafficking operation. Repeatedly named in police reports, civil suits, and victim testimony. Today, she lives comfortably in a $6.2 million Miami and $5.2 million New York City penthouse. So the real questions are, why is the media silent about her role? Why hasn't she faced any meaningful investigation or accountability beyond a secret 2008 immunity deal? Look at that. Have you heard about this Kellen person? Sarah Kellen. I mean, if she was involved as this, I mean, it sure reeks. It sure stinks. It sure seems like this person might be one of the most culpable people involved, right? Perhaps. Boston Mayor Michelle Wu, well, she's allegedly representing Boston. Talking about what built Boston, you know, the Irish and the Italians, but I guess she has a different thought to rewrite history.
You cannot talk about any achievement that the city of Boston has had in safety, jobs, and economic development, in education, without talking about the Somali community that has lifted our city up.
Lifted our city up. Wasn't it the Irish and the Italians that built Boston? Huh.
We are proud and we are grateful for our Somali community and for our Somali American neighbors. Boston and the country are clear that hate has no place in our society.
No. We actually do have a place for hating theft. And there's been rampant fraud.
We will use every attack to actually strengthen and expand the services available, to empower and work alongside our community members who are already doing so much good in the world and setting an example for the rest of the country. You cannot talk about any...
Michelle Wu, one of the worst mayors in America. We told you that sad story, unfortunately. Chamath Palapapataya says, show me the incentive and I'll show you the outcome. Here's the proportion of registered Democrats. All right, 2 p.m. Eastern time. Yes, 38 minutes from now, we'll do Strictly Football. So I got to rapid fire this. Proportion of registered Democrats and Republicans among faculty at the elite universities. You could do air quote elite. It's between 89% and 99% Democrat. Elon says it's basically illegal to be a Republican at Harvard. It's crazy. You want to know what type of theft is occurring? Well, Adam from Price Hill did this report on Columbus, Ohio, where what you're seeing in Minneapolis, they're doing in Columbus.
Oh yeah, the Somalians have it figured out in Columbus. I went to the Walmart on Georgesville to see if I could see people filling their carts or just kind of see what I could see. It's not the way they do it. They've got it figured out way better than that. Every single Somali restaurant has a grocery store right next door or within eyeshot of the restaurant. The specific one I went into today had it attached to the restaurant. And wow, what an adventure that was. Stay tuned for more on that. Anyways, the grocery store and the restaurant were the same building. So they don't have to go to a Walmart or a Sam's Club or a Costco necessarily. They can just order everything they need to their grocery store that's right next to or attached to the restaurant that they also own and never have to fill a single cart. And I guarantee you, if you looked at the records of those grocery stores, they lose tons of money every year, and it's probably used as a tax write-off because those groceries are being funneled into those restaurants, with a daycare center on the opposite side. And that's the common trend you'll see. There's restaurants, grocery stores, and daycare centers, and also home health care businesses. I can't forget the home health care businesses. Nakia was absolutely right. And the reason for the daycare centers I found out while I was at Walmart. 3/4 of the workers I saw working in Walmart, especially the cashiers, were Somali women. You gotta figure if you have 2 or 3 wives that you don't have to claim, these women can go work at Walmart full time for $15 an hour and still qualify for food stamps as long as they have a couple kids, which you can guarantee you they at least have 2 kids. Hell, they average 7. Or same story as working as a home health care aide. They have most definitely figured out the system and how to take advantage of it. And Columbus doesn't break down its numbers like Minnesota, but if anything like the 88% of the Somali community is on social services in Columbus, I can only imagine how deep the fraud is. So I'm changing tactics and going back up Monday, and I have a couple ideas to see if I can't sniff a few things out. Thanks for tuning in. Keep it icy.
So yeah, I would watch that whole series. Talk to people in and around Columbus. That whole place has changed, and it's been very coordinated. Of course, Carolyn Levitt says U.S. murders on pace for the largest one-year drop on record. Congratulations. All you had to do was care. And by the way, speaking of care, thank you, Kenneth. Super chat for Super Chap. Merry Birthmas. Merry Birthmas. Thank you for that Super Chat. We appreciate you. Rumble Rants and Super Chats. All right. I'm going to do a prompt here. I'll do that in a second. Conservatives demand the impeachment of foreign-born Judge Amir Ali. Why can we have foreign-born judges? That doesn't make sense. You should be born in this country and an actual American. You should be a natural-born citizen if you're going to be a judge. Having someone that's not born in this country, that's not from this country, get to judge over you, that feels like an overthrow. Judge Amir Ali, according to Eric Daughtry, declares himself president, unilaterally overturning Trump's order revoking attorney Mark Zaid's security clearance. The coup is real. This is outrageous. He's not president. Another report on Minneapolis, what the Somalis are up to. It's echoing what you saw in Columbus there. Here's what they're up to. Here's the grift.
Here in Minnesota,
allegedly,
a local realtor reached out to me to tell me about another way that Somalians are scamming Minnesotans out of their taxpayer dollars. In her community alone, Somalians have bought up over 455 homes. They buy these homes, claiming they're turning these homes into home health care centers. She says the way we know Somalians have bought these homes is because all of a sudden, extremely nice cars start showing up. Mercedes, BMWs, the nicest cars are parked in the driveway. And she said by law, the state will not come out and inspect these homes and make sure these homes even have clients living in these homes. She also said, as a realtor, she cannot disclose to people wanting to buy homes in this neighborhood that Somalians have bought that home and they're using that as a home health care center. She said these homes can even take people in who've just been released from jail, and the neighborhood does not need to know about this. But she says many of these homes do not even have clients in them. But the state is writing them checks every month for the clients that the Somalians say are in these homes, and these Somalians are making millions of dollars off of these homes every year. The Somalians have figured out exactly the perfect plan as to how to scam Minnesota taxpayers out of their money. They are banking on this, making millions of dollars, and the government here in Minnesota is too lazy to go and check it out and to see if there's even clients living in these homes. The fraud in Minnesota is so deep. Let me know your thoughts on this one.
What is a similar sentiment being echoed across the nation? Kenneth, yeah, a born identity crisis. Starring Matt Damon. Here's more reports on the Somali fraud. Here's Nick. What's this guy's name? I forget.
Here in Minnesota, massive fraud is taking place within the government and the Somali population. Here, this building alone, Quality Learning Center, is a daycare, yet they spelled learning wrong, and they said leering. This daycare alone in 2025 has received $1.9 million from the government. And the strange things about these childcare centers is there's no one here right now. It's midday on a weekday, and if you were to try to go inside, it's completely closed and the windows are all blacked out. No one's working. Midday, children should be in here.
I mean, unless it's Christmas break.
And this place is licensed for 99 children, and this is the outside. There's no windows, no nothing. And like I said, they literally spelt the word wrong on their sign. This is open.
Is this Nick Shirley, I think the guy's name is?
And blatant fraud taking place here inside of Minnesota. The government is completely complicit with this, and this is just one of the hundreds of child daycare centers here inside of Minneapolis being ran by the Somali population. It's sad that it's happening here in Minnesota, and it stinks that it's happening and it's being labeled on the Somali population. However, that's just the facts of what's happening here inside of Minnesota. $1.9 million for this daycare center that can't even spell learning right.
It's just, everyone's been asleep at the switch. PBS News says the U.S. military has killed more than 100 people in targeted strikes on small vessels in water off South America since September. Katie Miller says, yeah, Democrats can't identify a woman or a criminal or a peaceful protest or dementia, but they sure know a fishing vessel when they see one. How convenient. The Leering Center. Yeah. I know. Someone please stop all this fraud. Please. Kenneth knows Minnesota. Internal destruction of Minnesota is going on, and it is a shame. Agreed. I don't know what's going on. There was a segment, and Barry Weiss pulled it. Axios reporting it. Venezuela, El Salvador prison. No recorded statements. I don't know. I don't know what the story is, but they're saying there's some bad treatment of prisoners in El Salvador. Yeah, I think you should have to pay your time, and I don't think you should be suffering abuse. I'm pretty consistent in that for almost every case. Anthony Fauci, some of the traitors. But yeah, in general, it should not be abusive. But I'm not really figured out what that story is quite yet. Hearing rumblings and rumor, people complaining about Barry Weiss, and people complaining that she's too much, and people complaining she's not enough. People complaining she's a Zionist or she's anti-Israel. People complaining, I don't know. I thought Barry Weiss had a pretty decent track record, but now people hate her, I guess, since she's taking on a bigger role. Where's she at? Paramount, CBS, right? Alex Jones reports DHS Secretary Kristi Noem dropping a massive bombshell in the cabinet meeting with President Trump about Minnesota.
You know, you told me to look into Minnesota and their fraud. on visas and their programs, 50% of them are fraudulent, which means that wacko Governor Walz either is an idiot or he did it on purpose. And I think he's both, sir. He brought people in there illegally that never should have been in this country, said they were somebody that they're not. They said they were married to somebody who was their brother or somebody else. Fraudulent visa applications, signed up for government programs, took hundreds of billions of dollars from the taxpayers, and we're going to remove them and we're going to get our money back.
I mean, can you believe it got this bad? And are you excited for that to change? Democrat. Well, here's the Justice Department investigating Act Blue.
Directing the Justice Department to investigate Act Blue. This is a Democratic donation platform, and the focus as the allegations about illegal straw donors.
Everywhere you look, it's mafia tactics with the Democrats. Everywhere you look, it's fraud, it's theft, it's graft.
And foreign contributions. Mark Meredith is live in Washington with more. This has been brewing for a while, Mark. What do we need to know?
Dana, for years. And there have been reports, James O'Keefe has made these reports. They're collecting, they have to launder the money. It's like an episode of Breaking Bad. They're getting money from places they're not allowed to bribe elections with. So they're trying to get lists of people who are going to donate $100 a month or $1,000 a month. These are poor people living on fixed income. They don't have this kind of money. But they have to launder millions, so they sign up all these fake donors to reroute and launder and clean that money as if it came out of a car wash in Breaking Bad.
You're right about this, but this is a big development. The White House is directing the Attorney General to
allegedly
investigate the Democratic Party's top fundraising platform. It's called Act Blue, and the president says he wants to know if foreign money is being donated to the group and then utilized to sway elections. Democrats are calling this probe a dangerous abuse of power. Act Blue is an enormous operation in Democratic politics. It's raised more than $16 billion since 2004. You may have seen the text pop up from candidates saying, please donate, go to the Act Blue website. Republicans use something similar called Win Red. There was a new memo signed on Thursday directing the Attorney General to investigate if foreign nationals are using the Act Blue platform to bypass campaign finance laws. Trump wants a report out in 6 months.
6 months? How about 6 hours? Scott Adams says, I don't think it's an exaggeration to label the Democrat Party as a criminal organization. All right. What else did we want to share? Who will inherit Rob Reiner's wealth? There's a Slayer rule that might play a role. I think that's that if you can't earn your inheritance if you're the one that causes it to happen, I suppose. All right. Let me share with you one final story here at the top. U.S. Department of Labor says, may God relieve your sufferings and a good Christmas to you. George Washington to his troops, Christmas 1777. This Christmas, let us remember the sacrifices made by our forefathers, the patriots who withstood bitter winter conditions at Valley Forge and fought for the freedom of our great nation. Remember, it was a Christmas night attack that helped sway the tide in favor of the American patriots. Let's see if anything happens tonight. I asked Grok to tell us about what the point of this whole thing called Christmas is. Now, we know that Grok can hallucinate. We know nothing is perfect in the realm of artificial intelligence. We're well aware. We know. But let's see how close. Tell me if Grok gets anything wrong here or add something to this if you think Grok should have added it. We asked for the too long didn't read version of the story of Christmas, so here we go. This is regarding the birth of Jesus Christ on this wonderful Christmas Eve. The Christmas story comes from the Gospels of Matthew and Luke in the Bible. An angel announced to the Virgin Mary that she would conceive a son by the Holy Spirit, and he would be called Jesus, the Son of God. Mary was engaged to Joseph, a descendant of King David. When Joseph learned of her pregnancy, an angel appeared to him in a dream, telling him to marry her, as the child was from God. Due to a Roman census, Joseph and Mary traveled from Nazareth to Bethlehem. There was no room at the inn, so Jesus was born in a humble stable, or a manger. Mary wrapped him in cloths and laid him in a feeding trough. Angels announced the birth to nearby shepherds, saying, "Glory to God in the highest, and on earth peace among those with whom he is pleased." The shepherds visited the baby, praising God. In Matthew's account, the wise men, magi, that's magic, from the east followed a star to Bethlehem, or a craft, followed a star to Bethlehem, bringing gifts of gold, frankincense, and myrrh to worship the newborn king. This is often associated with Epiphany, not Christmas Day. This humble birth fulfilled prophecies. The Messiah born in Bethlehem as God with us, Emmanuel. So who was the man Jesus? Baptized at around the age of 30 by John the Baptist in the Jordan River. The heavens opened, the Holy Spirit descended like a dove, and God's voice said, "This is my beloved Son, with whom I am well pleased." This marked the start of his public ministry. Miracles and teachings. Jesus performed many miracles, healing the sick, walking on water, feeding thousands, raising the dead, and taught profound lessons like the Sermon on the Mount. Blessed are the poor in spirit. Betrayed by Judas, arrested, tried, and crucified under Pontius Pilate, he died on the cross to atone for humanity's sins, saying, "It is finished." On the third day, Jesus rose from the dead, appearing to his disciples. The empty tomb proved victory over death and sin. 40 days later, he ascended to heaven, promising to send the Holy Spirit and return one day. Jesus Christ's life shows God's love, offering salvation to those who believe. And from John 3, chapter 3, verse 3 through 16, Jesus speaking to Nicodemus says, "Unless one is born again, he cannot see the kingdom of God." So, in evangelical Christianity, being born again means a spiritual rebirth, which is a new life in Christ through faith. The simple steps to get there. Number 1. And by the way, any of you in earshot, if you want to say today's the day that you want to follow this path, well, it's Christmas Eve. What a great day to start, huh? We're at the end of a year, getting ready to start a new year. Be born again this new year if you want. And how to do that, a couple simple steps. Number 1, recognize that you're a sinner. Romans 3:23 says, "All have sinned." I think that one's pretty easy. 2, believe Jesus is God's Son, who died for your sins and rose again. John 3:16, "For God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, that whoever believes in him should not perish but have eternal life." So you need to recognize that you're a sinner, then believe that Jesus is God's Son. And then 3, repent, turn from sin, and personally trust and accept Jesus as your Lord and Savior. Say, hey, I'm gonna personally trust and accept Jesus. Turn from sin and accept him as Lord and Savior. And then 4, and then you're done. You pray something like, "Jesus, I know I'm a sinner. I believe you're the Son of God, that you died for me, rose again. Forgive me, come into my life, and make me new." This faith brings forgiveness, the Holy Spirit, and eternal life. It's free. It's a free gift by grace, not through works, as said in Ephesians chapter 2, verses 8 and 9. So there you go, everybody. That's how you do it. If you want to become born again and have a new year, rise again. Born again in 2026. Recognize you're a sinner, believe Jesus is God's Son, repent and personally accept Jesus as your Lord and Savior, and then just pray, "Jesus, I know I'm a sinner. I believe you died for me and rose again. Forgive me, come into my life, and make me new." So Merry Christmas. May the light of Christ's birth fill your heart this Christmas season. How about that? That's the reason for the season, not gifts, not gold and frankincense and myrrh, but rather through those steps. That's how you start a fresh year, walking with Christ this Christmas. Christmas Eve, everybody. Hope you have a great dinner. Hope you have a great time with friends and family. And I hope if you're going through it, you get through it. You know, once we're done, we can sleep when we're dead. We can give up when we're done. If you're going through it, the best way if you're going through it, my best advice is keep going. Keep going. Go through it. Get through it. It can be done. But yeah, to everybody out there, hope you have a great one today. Whatever that looks like to you. Merry Christmas to all, and to all a good day. I bid you good day, good sir. Well done. Kenneth, this may not be Jesus' birthday. Heard he was in June or even 9/11. I wasn't there. But I assume people had to be born on a day. And if this is the day that it's celebrated, I can get through with it. Of course, you'll see the documentaries that, no, he didn't rise. It's a Southern Cross. It's all astronomical. See? It's the shortest day, longest day of the solstice. And then it pauses for 3 days, and then it rises again on the Southern Cross. You rise from the cross. See, it's a nice way to say none of that's real. Okay. But to the Christians, it's real. Danette, I'm burned out, ready for a new start. Well, hey, every year gives us a new chance for a new start. Deep breaths. Christ is King. Merry Christmas. Merry Twittermas. Merry Xmas, Merry Twittermas. What'd you go to school? Oh, pilot. And then you dropped out because of love. Anyway, Merry Christmas, everyone. And a happy Monica to all. I'm going to come back in 20. Oh, geez, not 20. Like 10 minutes. I'm going to launch our football show, Strictly Football. We're going to get things on the road, discussing last week and looking forward to the playoffs. I'm very excited about it. Merry Christmas, everyone. Am I going to be on tomorrow? I don't know. I like being on. And I certainly appreciate your kind donations. We're out there on Rumble Rants and Super Chats and Patreon, Rumble and YouTube subscriptions, Venmo, Cash App, PayPal, all scrolling at the bottom of the screen if you want to throw something in your boy's stocking. Thank you so very much. Danette, the links I sent on the sermons are great. Go back a few days. You will love them all. I don't recall where you sent them. Did you email them? Did you put them in this? I have so many messages. Oh, did you send them through X? Maybe through X? Is that how you sent them? I'll take a look, see if I can locate them. Because, yeah, I've obtained more Bibles than I have in my life, and I've given more out, and I'm reading it more than I have. This feels like a good time to maybe reconnect with whatever that is and determine if it's right for me or not. I determined that multiple times throughout my life. I'm good. I know where I'm at. Pretty straightforward. I know what I'm aiming at. But yeah, I'm delving into the book more than I have before. So, all right. Gonna hit reset here and launch Strictly Football. So thank you for being here. I appreciate you. I love you. And we'll talk to you again soon. Take care, everybody. Merry Christmas. Peace on earth.